Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us for our monthly live stream. We are excited to welcome back a couple of our good friends from Klipsch to talk about a brand new product that they are launching right now. So thank you for joining us. It's been a lot of fun. Hopefully everybody's having a great summer, getting back out there and enjoying some new live music and being out with friends and all that good stuff. So let us know where you are joining us from. We love seeing where everybody's dialing in from in the US and all over the globe, which is really, really cool. I want to also welcome back Leon and Craig from Audio Advice. So we'll do a few minutes of introductions, and then here's what you can expect. We're going to talk about this brand new product that Klipsch is getting ready to launch, that we are excited to be launching with them, that we've been really, really excited about. So we're going to unpack that for you guys a little bit. And then we're going to open it up to audience questions. So feel free to start loading those questions in. We can see all those coming in, whether you're on YouTube or on Facebook. And we're going to get through as many questions as we can in the next hour. We're going to have a giveaway for also just for the best questions. So we're going to be giving away a pair of the T52 True Wireless in-ear headphones for your best question, in addition to the big giveaway that we'll be giving away here right before the end of the hour. So that's what you can expect over the next 60 minutes. Again, thank you for joining us, gentlemen. Matt, we'll kick it off to you. So let us know a little bit, obviously, where you're from, what you do at Klipsch, and then kind of a fun question. We've asked this question in the past, but now that it's actually starting to happen, you know, what is the first show that you're going to go see now that shows are starting to kick off? And I'll just go ahead and share with everyone because I'm so excited. We've got tickets to Dave Matthews Band opening up their summer tour. Where else would they want to open up their summer tour other than Raleigh, North Carolina, which is where I'm at. Leon and Craig are also. So we're super excited to get back out there and see some live music. So let us know some of the shows that you're going to be seeing. And again, Matt, I will hand it over to you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jonathan. And thanks to Audio Advice for having us today. We're really looking forward to this exciting product launch. And so question number one that you had was a little bit of background. I have been with Klipsch, since I've been an adult, really. I've worked with Klipsch my entire adult working life. I think I started all the way back in '94, something like that. My title is Senior Global Creative Director. So I work with a group of incredibly talented individuals who put together everything you see for the brand, whether it's the website or the packaging or the imagery or any of that. I work with a great team, and I'm happy to do it. Been doing it for quite a long time. So the other question that you had was what concert am I excited to see now that we can get out? I actually went to my first real live concert last night here in our hometown of Zionsville, Indianapolis. It's just north of the Klipsch headquarters in Indy. And we saw a band called the Sax Pistols. Fantastic band, basically a bunch of 80s and 90s cover songs, anything that you could think with a sax in it. Everything from Bob Seger to Wham. So very cool.
Awesome. Cool. And it is a happy hour. So cheers, everyone, and everyone out there that's joining us. Hopefully you're enjoying this as well. So let us know what it is that you are enjoying here this afternoon.
I have, like I do on our Klipsch live streams with Mark Cassavant, red wine and a metal cup.
There you go. Hey, it's never a bad time for a little glass of red wine. Michael asked, is everyone drinking? It's 5 o'clock. He's still at work, stuck at his desk. We feel sorry for you. Not really, but hopefully you still find a way to enjoy this. Let us know, everyone, again, what it is you're drinking. If you're out, you got a cool show that you've got lined up, let us know what that is as well. Mike, welcome back. You obviously are not a stranger to our monthly live streams. I know you've joined us several times.
No, I'm not.
So
yeah, good to be here, guys.
I don't know if it's you or the hair that we're getting so many comments on that people are excited to see. But
so Henry, who was on earlier, man, he's got some hair too. We should go head to head.
Yeah, and Craig, you're getting quite a few as well. So we're getting some love on all this manly hair we got here. So anyways,
Craig too, man.
Questions, same questions to you.
Yeah. So I'm the senior product manager at Klipsch for connected audio, which is pretty much any home theater device that connects to a network, plugs into the wall. So sound bars, powered monitors, all that good stuff, wireless home theater. Question 2 was, what show am I going to see first? Correct. Okay. Yep. Phoebe Bridgers is coming to town in a couple months, so excited about that. Pine Grove and a guy named Nick Shoulders, who's kind of like 50s rockabilly country, is coming to a killer venue in Indy called Duke's. It's like honky tonk country bar with really good fried chicken. So excited to get live shows back under our belts here for sure.
Absolutely, absolutely. And what is your happy hour go-to?
My happy hour go-to today is it's called State of Bean. It's a coffee blonde from One Well Brewing in Kalamazoo, Michigan, my home state.
There you go. Mine as well. So I forgot to tell everybody, this is one of my go-tos over the summer is the Bell's Oberon, also out of, I guess, Comstock, right across the tracks.
Oh, right. Yeah.
So you can hear all of that as well. So welcome back. Glad to have you. Can't wait for you to tell us more about this brand new product you guys have been working on for just a little while, right?
Be nice, Jonathan. Yeah. Yes, we have been working on it for a little while. I think we introduced these sound bars at CES of 2020.
Nah, 19 actually.
And was it 2019?
Well, did we have? We didn't have.
No, it's 2020. No, we didn't have CES 2021. 2020.
You're right.
So it's not that long. It's only been a year and a half. So
cool.
these
We're
are.
excited to hear more about it. Craig, we'll come back to you. Welcome back.
Good to be here. Thanks for having me, guys.
Hey, Craig.
Your face to everyone who's following Audio Advice. And if you haven't seen it, we're going to post our review that you did here just in a few minutes. But before we get to all that, same questions to you to kick us off.
Yeah, sure. So my very first concert, like rock concert I ever went to when I was like 17 was at the Ritz here in Raleigh, North Carolina as well. And that was to see Incubus back in their heyday, and Hoobastank was opening for them. And I didn't really like Hoobastank that much, but hey, they were there. So going back full circle, now that things are coming back, Incubus is coming to the Ritz. So I think that's going to be the next show I actually attend, and I'm really excited about that. I haven't even listened to Incubus in a long time, so it'll be cool.
Yeah.
I'm actually drinking, just keeping it simple, man. I'm not quite as classy as Matt's
Nice.
here, but yeah, just got Yuengling Black and Tan today.
There you go. Can't go wrong with that either. Someone asked, will we be selling this new product that we're going to be telling everyone about here very shortly? Yes, you can buy it right now on audioadvice.com. We'll be shipping here very, very shortly. Brian, welcome back. Great to have you back as well. All right, Leon, we missed you the last couple shows. Welcome back.
Yeah, I've been traveling too much. It was kind of fun.
Yeah.
It's good to be back.
Yeah, you get quarantined for a year and you've got your bucket list. You got to start checking back off again.
I know, I'm too old. I was going to say about this hair, so when you guys are 67 years old like me, if you have this much hair left, you'll be very happy.
That's right. Can't go wrong for sure. Well, welcome back. Same questions to you.
I'm a big fan of Graham Nash, and I've got him on the schedule for next March. I actually met him at CES a few years ago, which was just awesome. He was going around listening to speakers, and I ran into him in one of my favorite speaker manufacturers, and it was fun. So I wish I knew about Dave Matthews, though. I'm going to be out of town next Friday, though. But, man, I love Dave Matthews. I saw them. Are they at Walnut Creek, or is that where they're going to be? Yep. They were amazing there last time I saw them.
Yeah, it should be a good show, I'm sure. Awesome. Well, again, welcome everyone.
Local beer, Surf Wax. It's IPA.
Well, cheers, everyone. Again, thanks for joining us. Excited to get rolling here. Again, keep those questions coming. We're going to get through a lot of these, as many as we can. So before we do, Mike, I'll hand it over to you to tell everyone a little bit about the Klipsch part of our giveaway, and I'll take it from there. But let me pull it up real quick, and I'll hand it over to you to tell everyone a little bit about what is it we're going to be talking about this evening.
Man, giveaway today is the Klipsch Cinema 1200 soundbar. Guys, this is not just any soundbar. Packaged with the Sony TV, you're looking at a $3,000 value for this entire package. So the Cinema 1200 is the flagship of the Cinema series soundbars, 5.1.4 Dolby Atmos system with a 12-inch, almost 800-watt subwoofer. So Cinema 1200 watt soundbar system with the Sony TV is our giveaway today. So we're really excited about that.
Awesome. So we are excited to unpack all that went into the Cinema 1200 soundbar and everything that comes along with it. We want to leave everyone with a great setup. So we're also including the Sony TV, 55-inch TV. So again, a $3,000 value. I don't think anyone is going to be unhappy with that for sure. So Mike, Matt, I'll hand it off to you guys first. Why don't you just sort of tell us a little bit about what went into the thought process behind the Cinema 1200. Obviously, like you said, it's the kind of the high end of the cinema series. So you
Yeah.
can tell us maybe a little bit about some of the other parts of that series, and then what went into the development of the 1200, which we are obviously thrilled to be part of the launch today.
Yeah, absolutely. We're excited to have you guys be a part of it for sure. Now, the Cinema series, All In, is really meant to be a soundbar series that reflects the cinema performance of our professional cinema speakers. I'll try to say a sentence without saying the word cinema in it at some point tonight. But we've had decades and decades of huge market share in the commercial theater space, and as we get back to everybody going out and going to the movie theaters and seeing all the summer blockbusters, hopefully in the theater this year.
That's right.
We wanted to bring that same experience to the soundbar customer, and we've done that with horn-loaded technologies and high efficiency in our box speakers and our traditional component speaker systems, but we haven't really done it yet in a soundbar system. We've used Klipsch technologies. We've gotten that dynamic Klipsch sound out of the soundbar, but the Cinema series is really meant to reflect that true pro cinema performance. Wood bar construction, just like our pro cinema speakers. Tractrix horns, just like our pro cinema speakers. Market-leading power, as well as market-leading subwoofer sizes on these soundbars, brings that entire full bandwidth home theater, or I should say pro theater experience to the soundbar customer. So, Matt and I talk about this a lot, and Mark Cassavan too, who's a friend of Audio Advice. Just the idea that these aren't really soundbars. They're designed and built just like our home theater speakers. They just happen to be in sort of a soundbar form factor. So yeah, we're excited to bring the 1200 to life in the coming weeks, I'll say. The 1200, I mentioned, is a 5.1.4 system. So it has 3 channels in the bar, plus 2 up-firing Atmos elevation speakers. But it comes packaged with a 12-inch subwoofer. Now, think about all the other sound bars on the market. Who else has a 12-inch, almost 800-watt subwoofer on the
and
market?
Mike, it's not a mini 12-inch subwoofer. It is a
Correct.
serious 12-inch subwoofer.
Yes.
Correct. In fact, one of the most difficult mechanical exercises with this bar of all of them was designing the packaging. And it's something that we're constantly sort of tweaking. So from production run to production run, there are modifications made to the packaging just to support this incredibly stout, not only soundbar, but of course 12-inch subwoofer that comes with it. So it comes packaged with this 12-inch sub. It also comes packaged with 2 wireless surround speakers that also have Dolby Atmos up-firing speakers in them as well. So a 5.1.4 all-in channel count, but it will decode 7.1.4 and virtualize the rear channels as well with those wireless surrounds. So pretty incredible system. Everyone that's heard it, they're blown away by it. Again, it doesn't sound like a sound bar. It sounds like a dialed in, absolutely tweaked home theater.
Mike,
So
I want to jump in real quick and add some stuff to this, from some color commentary, because I am not a product engineer. However, I do run a recording studio and use a lot of speaker technology. One thing I want to go back to that you said, though, that I love about the DNA of Klipsch being in this, and this is something I think everybody really can appreciate, is the fact that these are made like our speakers. It's not a black plastic tube of a sound bar. This is a real piece of audio equipment. It is not a toy. And so they're made with real wood. They're made with real Tractrix horns, just like you would get in Reference or Reference Premiere. And then all of the electronics that go into that, which we'll get into. I had the pleasure of beta testing this system from its infancy until its release. And I got to tell you, this thing, I moved it from the living room to the bedroom, back to the living room again, and it made lightning strike me if this is blasphemy or heresy. But it may displace my 2-channel system in my living room. Yeah, just for even critical listening. I love the definition and the clarity and the soundstage I'm getting out of this sound bar. Paul Klipsch was a huge fan of the center channel, especially in 3-channel stereo. So this bar has a dedicated center channel. It just nicely sets that sound stage. Yeah, like a lot of sound bars just can't seem to do other than make the TV louder.
Yeah, you guys really did bring something quite special to the soundbar category, to be honest. And I mean, something only you guys Klipsch are able to do extremely well, which is that Klipsch horn technology. I mean, anybody else that does anything like that from this point on is kind of copying you, and you guys really nail that. And we can talk about why that's special too in just a little bit. But Matt, you guys beta tested this, and it was really interesting working with Leon and with your team, Mike, and I really got an insight into how meticulous and how detail oriented you and your team are, taking your time to make sure things are right. Yeah. Take your time to take feedback from Matt, from myself, or Leon, to make sure things actually deliver that Klipsch sound stage that people come to expect. Yeah. And last thing I'll just say about that too is it was really cool getting the soundbar, getting to experience it right when Apple Music released their Dolby Atmos music and spatial audio. Very cool. I mean, very cool.
That was really cool, Craig.
It's changing the way.
I love the connectivity of it. I love the fact that to get full, uncompressed Dolby Atmos, if you don't have the ARC on your TV, you just connect your sources right up to it. So unlike a lot of other bars where you're depending on both that, it's almost like having a home theater receiver that's a sound bar from a connectivity standpoint. It's very well thought out. And that costs more money to put that in there, but it just makes Dolby Atmos open up to so many more people.
Yes.
Right. Exactly right. Yeah. You mentioned it, Craig, the time that it takes to develop these types of electronics, and the audio advice guys have been pulling their hair out because the launch date on this bar has moved several times, we'll say. We were joking earlier that CES 2020 was when we introduced these bars to the market, and it's been a year and a half of okay, we think we have a launch ready product. Let's spend 60, 80 hours testing it, man hours. I mean, like per beta tester. Okay, well, this is a little quirky, or I don't like how this responds. Let's go back and fix it. While you go back and fix it, then you find something in the hardware or the performance of the bar that can actually be improved and make for a better user experience. So let's go back and fix that. And it's, I think it's a testament to our engineering team that they are so meticulous, and they have the veto power to say, we're not launching this bar. And frankly, we give that to pretty much everybody in the building. And that's a really important part of how the Klipsch business runs, is unless everybody signs off from, the junior product manager on it all the way up to Paul Jacobs, our CEO, unless it's universally okayed, it doesn't get brought to market. And with a product like this that has, such a broad connectivity and broad feature set to it, there's so many things that just have to be absolutely bulletproof before it's brought to market. So
Mike, I really applaud you for that too, because there's so many companies that we run into that will launch a product before it's really ready, just to try to get market share, or they need the sales volume right then. And the fact you guys have tried to make it as perfect as you can is great. You haven't rushed it at all, but we do want it now.
Yes.
I will say, we have a sales team that will disagree with you that we just want market share and we want sales revenue. So, that's the constant battle. Right?
The sales team does.
Yeah. But at the same time, they know we're not going to launch a product that doesn't live up to the Paul Klipsch name, and we're not going to launch a product that's, the internet user reviews, and as soon as you get some bad reviews on a product, like it's pretty much dead in the water. So we want this to be absolutely bulletproof right out of the gate. So that's why we've taken our time.
Absolutely.
Something else I would add to that comment, I think, is that traditionally, and we've got a lot of history in the rear view at Klipsch. Both Mike and I do to back this up. But we will not enter a new product category, and I consider Dolby Atmos Sound Bar as a brand new product category as sort of a leading edge. But we will not enter a new product category until we are sure that the actual product, the quality of the product, and the sound quality of the product can dominate the space that we're in. It has to be best in class, and so that's why you're getting a 12-inch 800-watt subwoofer with the 1200 because everything else that's coming out now, or a lot of things that are coming out now, are much smaller and a much lesser experience. So Klipsch really, we want to bring that cinematic experience and really be able to produce something that Paul Klipsch would be proud of.
Yeah. I'd like to add something to that too, because I mean, if you look at all the other sound bars out there on the market for the price point, I mean, even just getting that clear insight into your team and how, the musicality that you guys put into your products, your experience with home theater, and especially 2-channel music, it really does bring something special to this category. And if you're looking at all the other sound bars on the market, there's a lot of great ones, and a lot of them will do Dolby Atmos. But are they going to give you a musical sound, or when it comes to that deep impact during sound effects and things like that on your movies? Yeah. Is the sub going to deliver that experience of a movie theater? Is the center channel going to actually be clear so you can really hear the dialogue in a good way? And does it make you want to listen to your music, or is it just sort of there in the background? Right. And I think the soundbar, I mean, I said it once before, and I'll say it again. It delivers something really special to this category. It really does. Yeah.
Well, thanks for saying that, Craig. I mean, that's what it's all about. If you are a customer that is concerned about, is the subwoofer too big in my room? Like, can I hide the subwoofer behind the recliner? This is not the product for you. Like, no. and we make that product. We have a full line of cinema sound bars, but the Cinema 1200 is a 12-inch subwoofer that sounds like a movie theater sub, and we are not going to apologize for the size. To your point, it's
huge, Mike.
It's massive, but that's okay because
and it's got
no one else on the market.
How many companies make sound bars that have made as many subwoofers as you guys have?
None.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
None.
Yeah.
And
how many have made as many center channels as you guys had?
None.
So that's why it sounds so good.
It's a perfect marriage.
Just from a voicing standpoint, and a couple of things I think over this hour that would be really great to touch upon. And I know we're going to get to all this stuff, but obviously all the connectivity issues or connectivity possibilities with this sound bar. And then we can talk about the sound quality, and we've got the sub. I've actually got the system right behind me. So in a little bit, I'm going to pick up the sub and you guys can see this mother of a sub that comes with the most killer sound bar on the planet. The other thing that I think, and Craig, you actually kind of highlighted this in your review, which I love, is that this soundbar also acts as a central music hub for your house for streaming. So you can put this thing in a party mode and fill your entire house. You can rock the party with your soundbar as a full sound system. Stream it wirelessly. People can log on and stream their content. So I love all the other applications for this besides watching movies and hearing clear dialogue or listening to music and hearing, the great soundstage and all that. But then also it'll rock the party for you, and it's already installed under your TV.
Yeah.
You got all these really cool too. A lot don't have that. You got all those different modes to choose from.
Yeah. And
we got a couple. I'm sorry, Craig. I was just let me tee up for the question, and I'm sure this is probably where you're going. But Craig, Leon, you guys were able to thankfully get a couple early demo units of the Cinema 1200 before we had the chance to launch these, and we just launched our full video review, which we'd love for everyone to go check out after the live stream. We'll answer, I think, a lot of the questions that people have. But Craig, when you had the chance to test this out firsthand, maybe tell everyone a little bit about your experience and what stood out to you.
Yeah. Well, first of all, like Matt was talking about, the modes are really, really cool. They really do change the sound stage a lot. And we have a tips and tricks that's actually going to break those down for you so you can really, get the most out of it. But Mike, you were really helpful for just explaining what everything is, going on in the background with all of that. But one thing that I really liked was game mode. That really made the immersive experience of playing video games very three-dimensional sounding. It was really quite a cool thing. And I want to ask you, Mike, you guys aren't using DSP trickery or anything like that in any of these modes. How are you changing the soundstage so much with these?
Yeah, it's really about balance of the channels, right? And you say we're not using DSP trickery. I mean, the definition of DSP is pretty much anything front end that's not driver based. So I don't want to. Maybe we're not using trickery, but we are using DSP. So I don't want to confuse anybody or lie to anybody. But it is about, it starts with the driver design. It starts with the driver engineering and being able to harness that efficiency. Because if you're sending different signals to these different channels or different levels to these different channels, they need to blend and they need to balance, but they still need to be incredibly dynamic. And you talk about game mode. Game mode is all about first of all, low latency and detail, so you can be competitive and you can hear exactly what's going on around you. That's such an important aspect of gaming, and that's why a lot of gamers wear headphones. We talk about headphones with microphones built in, but not always comfortable, not always the best experience for that gamer. So having an extremely low latency, extremely detailed 360-degree soundstage that's not a headphone is really important. So, again, hats off to our engineering team, but it does start with driver design. It's about making the most efficient, most powerful drivers we can, and then the DSP behind those and the amplification behind those is really just the icing on the cake. If
people wanted to really experience Dolby Atmos music, and even high-res music, it seemed like standard and direct modes were really the best results. Is that right? Would you recommend that?
So direct mode is essentially what goes in is what comes out. So
native format.
Yeah, and you guys know that's the same as an AVR where if you're getting 5.1 in, you're going to get 5.1 out. Standard mode actually upmixes everything that goes into the bar to 360-degree sound or 5.1.4. So if it is a Dolby Atmos native signal, it will decode in Dolby Atmos. If it's a 5.1 native signal, it will upmix to 5.1.4. If it's a 2.0 signal, it will upmix to 5.1.4. So everything gets upmixed to utilize every driver in the bar.
And I want to insert here, Dolby does a fantastic job with their upmixes. A lot of people that haven't experienced Dolby Atmos, I will tell you from a music production standpoint and a critical listening standpoint, it is as drastic a difference as mono to stereo, because basically you're going from mono to stereo, right? And then when you add Dolby Atmos, you're adding this third dimension of hype to it. And what's really great about the Klipsch sound bars and Klipsch products in general, because they are horn loaded, that controlled directivity from the horn will allow you to localize sounds so that when you're dealing with Dolby Atmos, which is object oriented mixing, just remember that. You guys we're gonna see that more and more, is instead of saying I want this sound to be in that speaker, you're gonna say I want this sound to be up here or pointed around in the room. And so the speakers work together very efficiently. Remember, Klipsch's law is efficiency is inversely proportional to distortion. So they work very, very efficiently to give you that clarity and localize those sounds in a 360 space. So if you haven't experienced Atmos, I highly encourage you to do it, because it is revolutionary and it does bring an entire different dimension to the sound, almost like going from mono to stereo.
Yeah. And Leon came over and we listened to some Dolby Atmos music, but also if you do want to check one out, Pixar movies are really good. And one that we looked at was Soul, which you can actually see on Disney Plus, and it's in our review too. But man, it is, like I said, you can get a lot of different Dolby Atmos sound bars, but they won't localize sound quite with that much clarity and detail as this one can. And at the price point, it makes it really cool for that Dolby Atmos experience at home.
Yeah, and I like being able to kind of play around with the rear surrounds and get those in the right position. And it was once we got it set up, Craig, it really rocked. I mean, it sounded amazing. And you do have to play, which is in the tips and tricks, the levels for the Atmos speakers and the rear speakers you can play around with. But that it's really special once it's dialed in. And man, I totally agree. I think object-based music is the next frontier. I mean, we've had all these processors throughout history. You remember the Yamaha processor was trying to recreate all these concert halls, and it really was faking it. Now we can actually do it with Dolby Atmos.
Yeah. And
it's going to take music enjoyment to a whole new level. I can't wait to buy another copy of Pink Floyd Dark Side of the Moon and Dolby Atmos.
Yep.
Every
All the
time.
5.1 mixes, Pet Sounds, Abbey Road.
Yeah,
I just got
Atmos.
that sounds in mono today.
Oh, nice.
I will say the Abbey Road Atmos mix, the Atmos release is fantastic. If you are a Beatles fan, I highly recommend the Abbey Road Atmos. Yeah, they put stuff in logical places, but also because of the album itself, things move around. So when the guitar solos at the end are happening, you hear all three guitarists in different places in the room, so you know who's doing what. It's pretty cool.
I got to try that. Thanks for the tip.
Yeah, check it out.
A couple quick questions here. I'm sorry, Mike.
No, go ahead, Jonathan.
Yeah, just some folks asking what questions. We want to get to as many as we can. But you guys, this has been a ton of fun. We're covering a lot of ground, anyways. A lot of folks who maybe are new to audio are just asking some questions that normal people would be asking, just getting into audio. We'll call them. What's sort of an ideal size room range for this Cinema 1200? Maybe if you guys can give some folks, and Craig, I know you tested this in kind of a family living room type setup. Maybe you guys can give your thoughts there.
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, where I tested it was right here. Leon came over, 9-foot tall ceilings, pretty wide open space. So, I mean, the really cool thing about testing it in a situation like this is not only is it similar to probably what a lot of people have at home, very open, spacious area, but you can really hear the way the soundstage is going to sound when you orient yourself away from the optimal listening position. And I mean, the cool thing is, cinema mode or not cinema mode, I'm getting that mixed up. Movie mode and also music mode was really good for just making it sound even when I'm not sitting right here, which is the sweet spot. It just covers your whole house with great sound. And I was really impressed with that. What did you think, Leon, when you came over?
Well, I would think that the room size is, if you got into a huge room that's like 25 by 40 feet, just add a second subwoofer. The way you would place things, so it would still work just fine. And even in a room that's 10 by 12, because you can adjust everything. You can move the surrounds back and forth. So you can dial it into about any size room. I would be curious if we had a few questions earlier when the review came out. We had some people that have bonus rooms where they have the ceiling that's kind of angled. You've got a knee wall, and how close could those be to the ceiling to get good Atmos effects? If your couch is against this wall that's got a sloping ceiling coming up,
yeah,
a lot of people have.
That's a really good question. I've actually been.
I would think you want to move them forward a little bit, but we didn't have an opportunity to try that in a situation like that.
Essentially, what you want to do is just like basic physics. The angle of approach is equal to the angle of departure. Basic physics or aviation, I guess. But I've been testing mine in this sort of lofted office area that I'm in now, and the wall right on the other side of my computer where the TV usually is for testing has a slope ceiling, and you can essentially look at it as you're spot on, Leon. Pull the bar out a little bit, but if you look at a side profile of the room or of the listening space, you essentially want the angle that the sound hits the ceiling to match the angle that it comes off of the ceiling. So essentially position the bar so that angle is equal, and it allows the sound to then hit the listening area purely or close enough to spot on as it can.
a couple of points I would add to that, Mike, is, again, you play around with that a little bit to kind of find the optimal listening, but we've tried it in a variety of situations, vaulted ceiling, even textured ceiling, those kinds of things. And it seems to, with just changing the volume of the height channel, I think you can get a nice equalized room until where it sounds amazing. But I think a lot of people don't really know kind of the concept of Dolby Atmos, and what it does. One thing I will mention, based on a couple of comments that have happened, is you do not need a receiver for this bar. You absolutely, that will eliminate any of that. You need an HDMI cable, and that's the end of it. It works with Apple TV. It works with anything that has an HDMI out to it. You can use it as an input to the bar and then to the TV, or the reverse of that, and have it be a slave from the TV, and have it be using your HDMI ARC as your TV remote for the volume for the unit. So there's a variety of ways to hook this thing up. But yes, the up-firing speakers are part of the Atmos experience, and those are built into the soundbar and the surrounds themselves.
Yeah. And one thing I'll just add to that real quick. Really, our tips and tricks will actually give you some hints based on your room size. So, I mean, this was 9-foot tall ceiling. So, to Matt's point, when you raise the level of those Atmos speakers, you can raise or lower them. And around +5 was really, really good, because, I mean, it just for 9-foot size ceilings. But if you have lower ceilings, 8 or 7, our tips and tricks guide will give you some good settings to play around with. So definitely check that out.
Yeah, I just got a text from Phil Dickerson, who's one of our senior graphic designers who does a lot of our product photography as well. He said the angle of reflection is equal to the angle of incidence. So I'm sorry, but I appreciate you clarifying that for me, Phil.
Corrected.
Yeah.
Thanks, Phil.
So, Craig, you're spot on. We actually have in our larger great room here. It's like 20 by 25 or maybe 15 by 25 with a 20-foot ceiling, and so it's difficult to get Atmos effects in that room. But at +6 on the height surrounds, like it's audible. It's a captivating experience still. So yeah, just like you said, play with some of those settings, whatever works best for your environment. It's easy to dial in a great experience.
Yeah, because Matt's right. Not a lot of people understand. I mean, this Dolby Atmos thing is really new, especially with spatial audio and it coming to music and stuff. So adjusting that third axis, for three-dimensional sound is definitely a new concept. People haven't, until you experience it, you don't really know what you're doing yet. So I really found, the user interface of the control, the remote control that comes with it, just adjusting all those settings. And when Leon came over, I learned a lot about, putting things at ear level for the surrounds, and then making those adjustments based on of your room. It's not immediately clear. So again, that's why I think it's really cool that not only do you guys provide a great user experience, but our tips and tricks guide will really demystify anything that's just not immediately clear.
One of the things
you guys do a great job
from this setup, I think, the simplicity of this bar that occurs to me from a layman's standpoint. I first put the bar in the living room, then I moved it up to the bedroom. And when I did, I have my TV sitting on my dresser. So I just put the bar on the dresser. It's a wider dresser, 2 rows of drawers. But I put the bar right on the dresser, and then I put the surrounds on either side of on the end tables by the bed. And then the actual subwoofer behind the dresser, because it was in the corner. So basically, when you walked into my room, the only thing you saw was the bar, which was the size of the width of the dresser. It didn't hang over, but a very sort of discreet, badass large system. It was like you could hide a bunch of it as much as you wanted to. But that experience watching movies, at night, and that was part of the beta testing process. As you're watching your regular programs, or you're streaming, or you're watching movies, especially the new blockbusters that are out there. Just play them like normal and try everything. I was playing everything through an Apple TV and, through a decent sized TV. But having it that intimate in that small of a space, my bedroom's probably 10 by 12, something like that, maybe a little bit bigger, 10 by 14. It was still an incredibly intimate experience, an incredibly enveloping experience. With the lights out, you would not know that you weren't in a movie theater.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
So something I want to bring up, Leon mentioned this earlier, the idea of adding an additional sub.
Yeah, we've got
There's a wired subwoofer out on both the bar and on the back of the wireless subwoofer.
That is so cool.
You can, in theory, add an infinite number of subwoofers, which we know our friend Mark Cassavant would do. But really the idea is, some people want to put the wireless sub in the back of the room and put a wired sub in front of the room to even out room modes, right? So having the wired out on the back of the bar just makes it easier to run a cable from the front of the room. Some people want to run a wireless sub in one rear corner of a room and run a wired sub in another rear corner of the room. So the wired out on the back of the wireless sub allows you to essentially run a wire from wherever that wireless sub is. So it's really about optimal placement of your secondary sub. And then of course, if your wired sub has an additional RCA output, you can get into adding, 3 subs or 4 subs.
Yeah. What's so cool about that, I'm glad you mentioned that, because with a pretty massive 12-inch transducer housed inside that wireless sub, adding a second one is not necessary, but it is really cool that you can do that.
Yeah.
So for those who don't know, what would be the benefits, of adding a second or even a third sub?
Yeah. So great question, Craig. The issue with subwoofers in moderately sized or small, any size room, short of, gymnasium size, any size room in your house, I should say. The issue with subwoofers, and this is universal, this is not Klipsch specific, this really has not much to do with size of the sub, but the wavelength of those subwoofers creates room modes. And you can look up, nodes or modes, essentially peaks and valleys in the sound wave. And this is the case when you only have one subwoofer in the room. So you get these peaks and then you get valleys. So depending on where you're sitting in the room, you're either hearing a peak or a valley or somewhere in between, which is why if you're listening to really bassy music and you walk around a room, the bass kind of sounds different depending on where you're at in the room. If you add a second subwoofer, it can help even out those room modes. So it essentially gives a more consistent listening experience no matter where you're at in the room, no matter where you are at, relative to either one of those subwoofers, which you don't get with a single subwoofer. So it's really about acoustically tuning the room or flattening those room modes or making a more consistent experience for the listener. Now, you also
Mike, and that's what's so great too. You can start out, and I think most people will start out with this package because the 112-inch sub does rock. Yes. But it lets you, you have it for a year or two, then you think, hey, I want more. Let's add a sub to it. That's what's so great about this. You're not locked into it. Yeah, so just one subwoofer like most sound bars are.
And the second benefit, aside from evening out these room modes, is essentially, the more subs you have, the less each of them has to work. So you're actually minimizing distortion because you're not maxing out that amplifier, maxing out that driver as much. If you're cranking that subwoofer, dial it back 3 or 4 clicks and add a second sub, so neither one of them has to sweat as hard as the single sub in the room.
Well, I want to throw out a quick message to Dave Solomon, who I saw is on here. How much bass is too much bass? Well, I want to show you guys the size of this sub.
That's right. That is
yeah.
How deep is it, Matt?
It's not light either.
No, it's not.
True.
These things are going to cost us a fortune to ship.
That's right. That's right.
But
that
is an audio advice problem and not a Klipsch problem. So
That's right.
we're in the business of making great subs.
Yeah, we do offer free shipping, but this new Cinema 1200 may make us rethink that. But for right now,
might change your tune. Yeah,
get it while you still can, for sure. There you go. Free returns, 2-day free shipping. We're just gonna make a lot of folks happy. We're not in the business of making money. We're in the business of making people happy, right? But we still gotta keep the lights on. Several folks asking about soundbar placement. Do you mount it on the wall? Where do you place it? Maybe you guys can give us your thoughts there on ideal setup and placement.
Yeah, so this bar is wall mountable. We actually positioned the Atmos drivers. So, and I know this is a big concern with a lot of people with the Atmos bars and the TV actually interfering with those up-firing drivers. We've actually positioned those drivers closer to the front of the bar. So you have an inch, I should say 2 or 3 inches on the back of the bar of leeway. So when it's mounted to the wall, if when the bar's mounted to the wall, if your TV above it has 3 or 4 inch clearance, then you're fine. You can go tight up right to the bar. And then obviously, if it's out further than that, you can drop the bar down, essentially to clear that interference from the bottom of the TV. Yeah, we will always say the optimal placement for a sound bar is tweeters at ear level. We say that for floor standing speakers. We say that for bookshelf speakers. It's no different for sound bars. So if you can mount the bar at ear level and the TV, above that generally, but I know that's a little bit high for a lot of people. So we actually have a 60-degree dispersion vertically on those horns on the bar. So you've got some room to move where you have consistent response if it's above or below your ears.
Yeah. And Craig, you do a great job in the video of the full review of showing exactly how you can place the satellites, right, for optimal performance on the rears. So if you haven't, like I said, check that out. If you buy it from Audio Advice, we also include the tips and tricks video that is super, super helpful as well.
One newbie question that I might want to just throw out there as an answer is, we had a couple of questions that are, what is horn loading and why is that important to Klipsch? So that goes all the way back into the fundamentals of Klipsch. Klipsch speakers have always been horn loaded, and what that really does, that creates an efficiency in the driver as opposed to a dome tweeter that's kind of spraying acoustic energy around the room. The horn takes the energy and funnels it into a very tight column that allows the amplifier to not have to work nearly as hard or the driver to work nearly as hard, and thus you get higher clarity. So by having the horn loading, matter of fact, the soundbar has 3 horns in it for left, right, and center channels. You get very, very clear information coming out of that, very efficient information with low distortion and low artifacting that could color your music or color your dialogue. Did I say that right, Mike? Does that make sense?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. So,
and by having controlled directivity, instead of like a 180-degree dome tweeter that's spraying everything against the sidewalls, you're getting early reflections. You don't get that.
Yep.
So everything's much clearer.
Yep.
Right. It's its own form of acoustic treatment in the room because you're directing all of that mid-range and high-frequency energy directly at the listener. So, Matt, you were spot on. I will add that I heard it once. I heard horn loading likened to essentially shouting. So if you're outside and you see a friend of yours across the street, generally if you shout just like this, like, "Hey, Matt," it's not as easy to hear me as if I do this, "Hey, Matt," and I'm focusing that sound right at you across the street. So that's, for everyone on the live stream that's looking for some sort of illustration, that's the best I can do. But.
Yeah, very, very simple. And I love the fact that obviously that's what makes Klipsch unique, whether it's your your Klipsch horns, which you can come here in the Raleigh showroom in Raleigh, or if you've got a pair of Klipsch 5s, which we've obviously talked about in the past, which I have here set up as my external speakers for my computer. That technology, it filters through the entire Klipsch lineup, right? Which is awesome. It makes you guys who you are for sure.
75 years ago.
Yeah. Definitely part of the Klipsch. Yeah, definitely part of the Klipsch DNA, man.
Yeah.
We're going to the same place.
Yeah.
You know, we've been using horns since the beginning, and I will say that the Tractrix curve that we use for the horns, getting a little bit technical here, that curve by which the air is pushed and sort of released into the room is what we have found over the years has been the least affected to the sound. So it allows us to remain fairly flat frequency response and all of these things that people are looking for without colorization and some of the other things that you get from other kinds of speakers. But the horn, definitely, we have spent 75 years developing that technology to be able to deliver that to you with as low of a distortion as possible, but also having, it also makes the speakers much more efficient, which makes them much more louder with less wattage. That's the whole key to it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which means they're more dynamic and more effortless and all the other good stuff that goes along with that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And for people who haven't quite experienced it, I mean, it's like it just sounds alive. It's a really fun sound to listen to for music.
Right.
And I've never really experienced it with movies like this before. So that was extremely cool, especially for special effects.
Once you hear a well-designed horn-loaded speaker, and by well-designed horn-loaded speaker, I mean a Klipsch. Once you hear that, every other speaker you listen to will sound like it has a blanket over the top of it. That's the best way to describe it. It just becomes this sort of dull, dry sound where a Klipsch, like you said, Craig, like it comes to life, and it really, you hear things that you never heard before. Everything just sounds like it's in the room, and it's much more realistic because of that horn loading.
Yeah, I will say, because I'm showing my age here, so you guys feel free to smack me down because of this. But what I will say is, as I continue to grow older, we all know that we start to lose a lot of that top end hearing, and it starts to roll off a little bit. What I will say with Klipsch loudspeakers and with the dialogue mode in this soundbar in particular, it has been a blessing to be able to hear that not only the natural sound of the speakers, but also the pronounced dialogue mode. When you've got a movie going on, there's so much happening, and it's rolling around your head because of Dolby Atmos, and you really want to hear, like, what did they say? You got to go back to it. The dialogue mode helps out a lot with these sound bars, just to be able to have that a little bit more pronounced.
It does. Even for music, I found myself, I normally don't like to tweak with dialogue modes that much for music. And I found myself, suddenly it sounded muddy. The vocals and the sound stage were not as clear until I messed around with the dialogue mode more too. So I kept finding myself going back to it. So yeah, you guys do an amazing job. You really do. Extremely musical.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. It's all a testament to our engineers that usually refuse to put up with any marketing BS and refuse to release anything to market that doesn't sound like they want it to. So we're lucky to have them, for sure.
It shows.
A couple quick questions. Some folks asking, why go the soundbar route versus, your maybe a traditional setup with a 5.1 with a receiver and so forth. What are your thoughts there after experiencing the Cinema 1200?
I'll touch on that real quick if you guys don't mind. I just think soundbars are, they can always come with you if you move. If you want to move it into another room, if you upgrade to something else, they can kind of, move around a lot easier. And I say mobile sometimes because they can come with you anywhere you go. Leon can really speak to this a lot more. The experience is really different with speakers that are built into the walls and just all around you. And a lot of times those can't come with you. It's like an investment in your house sometimes. So from that point of view, it's not quite the same experience as, a full installation, but it's a very mobile, solution that can come with you anywhere you go. And it comes really close to that experience.
Yeah, I would say that's a really great question. So it's far simpler to get everything running and connected and hooked up. Yeah, there's no question a Klipsch reference Premiere separate system with a great receiver is going to sound better. It's everything's bigger and better and more expensive. You really can't put together a receiver with this kind of sound with separate speakers, I don't think, that you guys have. But if you want the ultimate home theater sound, separate speakers, separate amps, processor. That's the way to go. This is just such a great value, though, to just plop into a room. Everything's wireless. You make one connection from your TV and you're done, and tweak it a little bit. So it's kind of what you're trying to accomplish.
Yeah.
And Leon, you guys, as well as Klipsch, will always have customers that want component passive speakers because they want that performance, but they also want, if 5 years down the road, I feel like I need larger surrounds or I need more amp power, like I can swap that out pretty easily with a component system.
Right.
These sound bars are bringing that level of performance to a customer that doesn't want to mess around with that. They don't want to, try to map out the back of an AVR or figure out, okay, I've got my speakers now. I need to go buy a receiver or amplification for them. They just want something they can pull out of the box and plug in, and it sounds great. And the Cinema 1200 especially is bringing a new level of performance and a new level of audio experience to that customer that wants a plug-and-play solution.
That's exactly right.
Something I would add to that, Mike, is that, as people that consider themselves, myself included, either an audiophile or appreciative of quality audio, often draw the same baseline, and say, well, for my money, I would rather do this and get more involved in the system. But for someone like, I was thinking about like for me and members of my family, or even my mother, to be able to, who appreciates high quality audio, understands what things sound like, to be able to open it up out of the box, plug, 4 things in, and have one wire coming out of the TV, an HDMI cable, and you're done, you're set up. Yep. If I sent her an AVR in a box, she'd never get put up because she would never know how to do any of that stuff.
Right.
But you can have cinema quality Dolby Atmos audio right out of the box with one cable and a few power jacks, and you're good to go. So I think the simplicity for me is, I think as we move forward, we continue to take all of the Klipsch technology and that experience and find simpler ways to get that into people's hands. That's been the barrier for years in the audiophile industry, in the audio industry is, well, I need this, and then I need this, and then I got to treat the room, and then I got to do this, and all these other things. And it becomes sort of a money pit to a certain degree, which I think can be great for those people that are really into it.
We love the money pit.
We love the money pit part of that.
We love the money pit. Don't do this.
But if that overwhelms you, and you want something simpler, and you're not interested in a plastic tube, from a big box store, then you should look at something like the Cinema 1200 system. It blew my mind, and I was very skeptical to start with. I had a very high bar, and now the system it just keeps getting put back up in other rooms because we love it so much.
Yeah, it really is the convenience. And one thing from a user experience point of view that I really found really great was the wireless connectivity of all the parts always was stable. And if anything, if it lost power or anything like that, you just press that pair button and they're all back. I mean, that's really hard to do. And you guys, from a convenience point of view, that was really well done.
Absolutely one of those things that, we were in the life cycle of this development, that was one of the things we wanted to focus on was it just has to work. The old Apple slogan of like, people aren't buying this bar because they want to tweak it. They're buying this bar because they want to be able to turn it on and just have it work and not even think about it. Mm-hmm. When user experience is 90%, the thing just works in the background, and as the user, I'm not thinking about it. That's the key. And so that was one of the big things was like automatic pairing out of the box, but then 100% of the time after months and months and months of use. And there was a lot of testing that went into that.
Yeah, I had it here for about a month, and I was just waiting for things to fall apart and not connect and not pair. It never happened. It always maintained stable. I mean, you really did a great job.
It was a beta product, right? You just
beta, yeah.
Yeah, just waiting for it. You know, one of the things I love about this product, and I want to maybe have Mike back me up on this, is the streaming capability of this thing. You know, if you've got Alexa, if you've got a Google Home system, if you've got Bluetooth, Spotify Connect, any of those things, this bar is real easy to connect to. You just add it to the system, and it becomes part of your ecosystem. Am I saying all that right, Mike?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's one of the first bars on the market that connects to Google, Alexa, and Spotify Connect. Typically, you have to choose one or the other. But depending on what your ecosystem is or what you think your ecosystem is going to be in a year or 2 years, this is the bar for you because it does have Google. So it works with your killer Google Assistant or Google Home system, but it has Amazon Alexa if you're an Alexa person. And that was, you know, one of the... I want to clarify. We talk so much about Google and Alexa or Google Assistant and Alexa just being voice control. So you can say, you know, play Spotify on the Cinema 1200 soundbar. But it's so much more than that with the ability to use multi-room control. So you can group the bar with other rooms in your house. If you have Google Home product or Alexa product, you can have the bar be its own group or its own room. And this can all work with that full ecosystem. It's not just about voice control, but it's about the ease of, you know, Matt mentioned party mode earlier. Yes, this bar will support audio throughout your house, but if you have other Google devices or Alexa devices and you want to be, you know, a whole home zone, it can be part of that. And it's as easy as, you know, opening up the Klipsch Connect app, clicking on Amazon Alexa, it will have you log in and it will set up the bar on your existing ecosystem. It's so easy, but there's so much more to these ecosystems than just voice control.
Yeah. Well, to sum it all up, I think, you know, simplicity, you guys have done an incredible job, you know, thinking through all the different ways to really maximize the performance of, you know, an incredible sound bar, but not just the sound bar, right? The subwoofer, the satellites, everything. You know, to be able to get Dolby Atmos in something like this is just really, really cool. And I think something that folks are really going to enjoy, especially at this price point. Like you said, you can build out a full system, but I don't think you can touch anything close to this at $14.99. And again, we're incredibly excited to be, you know, one of the exclusive launch partners to launch the Cinema 1200 with you guys. You guys are an incredible partner. We've loved the relationship. Obviously, you know, look forward to many, many more to come. Thanks to everyone who has joined. I know we're right up against the hour. We didn't get to as many questions, but obviously we had a great conversation. So hopefully we were able to answer a lot of those questions just during the course of the conversation. What we always like to do is our team will work between now and tomorrow to go back through and answer as many questions as we can in the comments. So when we post these on YouTube and Facebook, hopefully we'll be able to answer a lot of those questions in the comments. Also, be sure to check out Craig's full review. I think he also answers most of the questions that were addressed here today. And if you purchase from Audio Advice, you will get a tips and tricks video just for you to really walk you through maximizing the performance of the Cinema 1200. So thanks again, Matt, Mike. I really enjoyed having you guys as always. Thanks, Leon and Craig, for being back with us. I'm going to announce the winner for our best question. So a pair of the Klipsch T52 Sports goes to Apollo Gonzalez. Hopefully I got that right. Apollo, we will reach out to you, ask the question about room size. What's the best room size? I know we touched on that quite a bit. Lots of flexibility with this amazing sound bar. And then now for the moment, I know everyone has anxiously been awaiting. I'll announce the winner of this really cool package, $3,000 value, Sony 55-inch TV and the brand new Cinema 1200. Right before I do that, I know several folks have asked, can I see the Cinema 1200 at Audio Advice in person? So we do have it set up now. We only got 2 beta units. One went to Craig, one went to Leon. We have those set up in our Raleigh showroom. Our sales guys have been like asking us to have that set up so people can come in and check it out. We will have one in our Charlotte showroom as soon as Mike sends us some more. So we'll have
working on it
to set up very, very soon. We hear they are en route, but you can go ahead and pre-order those today. They will be shipping here very, very soon. Thanks again, everyone, for joining us. So our winner, hopefully I will get this right, is Jason Eichhoff. I hope I get that right. Jason Eichhoff from Ohio. We got your information. We will reach out to you. Congratulations. You are the new winner for our live stream today. So thanks everyone again for joining us.
Congrats, Jason.
Love all the engagement. Love seeing so many familiar names coming back month after month. We are not announcing our next giveaway just yet. We're going to leave you guys with a little bit of a tease here. We are going to be giving away something really, really big coming at the beginning of next month. So we will announce that August 1st. we've got something very, very exciting. We're going to be the exclusive partner, launch partner with another one of our great partners in the home theater space. Not a competitor of Klipsch, obviously. So we will make sure we share some love. So be sure to tune back in. And thanks again, everyone. Thanks again, our friends at Klipsch, for being part of this. Thanks, Leon, Craig. We will see you guys again back here in about a month. Thanks again. We'll see you soon. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you,
Thanks, everybody.
See you guys.